opening such, giving such opportunity.
Thank you, Dimra. So what are you doing in your free time? Can you share us your hobbies?
What I do, my hobbies lately, like since I moved to Korea, I started running, doing yoga. Maybe, I don't know, because back in Kazakhstan, I was quite active. Like I participated in a lot of like student clubs, but right here, it's kind of, I'm isolated, surrounded by mountains. So I started like doing such stuff. And also since last month, I started knitting.
Wow.
And I need 2 scarves right like by now. And I'm doing my 3rd one. And yeah, I
That's
like
cool.
What else? Yeah.
That's awesome. How about Adil? Could you introduce yourself?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm Adil from Genome Dynamics Lab at NIG. I'm a D2 student, and currently I have started my main project that will eventually become my whole PhD course project. What else? I registered for Python course on Coursera as an additive to IS recommendation for Python.
That's awesome. And Aisha, maybe you can introduce yourself as well.
Sorry, I cannot talk because I'm in the lab. Okay.
Okay, so Aisha is a D5 student, and yeah, I hope you have a chance to know more about her and each other in the next sessions. And I think I will start now. Maybe others will join later. So today we will have just basic introduction of Python, the fundamentals of Python language. And we have one more student joining. Yay. Okay, our slide. Okay. Thank you again, everyone, for joining this session, Python Fundamentals. I'm going to introduce the basic concepts about the operators and basic data types today. And then you will have some time to practice yourself in the Kaggle platform. And as we learn through this Kaggle platform, you will be able to get not only the knowledge, but the certificate to prove your new skills and new abilities. And also, as we learn, I hope that we will get the skills necessary to practice, to implement our knowledge and solve some coding problems. And bear in mind that for this learning process to be interesting, we will have some coding competitions and you may win some prizes. Okay, some certificates. So let's start with operators. We will start with arithmetic operators. So this is math. It's similar to math operation, like addition, subtraction. We will use asterisk sign for multiplication, / for division. For exponentiation, we will use the double asterisk. And if we want to know the remainder, we will use the modulo sign. For example, 9 modulo 4 is going to be 1 because 2 multiplied by 4 is 8, and what remains is 1, right? And we will use 2 / for integer division when we want to know. So this sign will round the result to the integer. You will see in the examples. Okay. So for example, the 3 plus 5 will result in 8. And Python follows the mathematic order of operations. So the multiplication and division comes first, and then summation and subtraction are the following. So could you please tell me what the answer for 2, 3, and 4? Anyone? You can just unmute yourself and don't worry if your answer is incorrect. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 multiplied by 3.
12.
Okay, that's right. And 3 exponentiation sign 2. What will be the result? So it means 3 in the power of 2, right?
9.
Yeah, 9. So we use two asterisk sign to show exponentiation instead of, maybe you've seen or used this sign, right? But it's not the power sign. So we will use asterisk signs. And the last one, 9 modulo 2 is going to be
1.
1, yes. And another example. So we have electricity bills, which states that we need to pay $23, $32, and $64. And what is the average monthly electricity bill over the 3 months period? And in order to know the answer to this question, you would use print function to print the result of your expression. So could you please write in the comments here in the chat, how would you calculate the average 3 months bills amount, the amount you need to pay for 3 months? So you need only to use the math to calculate average using the arithmetic operations. Okay, I shall suggest, okay. So we need to, that's correct answer. We need to sum up all 3 numbers and then divide to the number of these bills, right? So we have just 3 bills. Okay, yes, that's correct. Thank you. Yeah, this is the answer. And the last practice for the arithmetic operations, we have to do the floor tiling. And one part is 9 tiles wide by 7 tiles long. The other is 5 tiles wide and by 7 tiles long. And tiles come in packages of 6. So how many tiles are needed? And if you buy 70 packages of tiles containing 6 tiles each, how many tiles will be left over? So you also need to use arithmetic operations to calculate the answer to these questions. And also, please, everyone open the chat, and I will also discuss the style of your writing. I will write the more correct answer for the previous question and for the current one. So do you understand the question I have written? I have read here. Is it clear? So the first question is, overall, how many tiles we need? So our floor consists of 2 parts, and we have the dimensions ready. So we need to sum up the dimensions, multiply the dimensions to get this the area, right? The overall area, right? And then we sum up the first part and the second part. Yeah, that's correct. And for the next question, you have 70 packages, each containing 6 tiles. And now you know how much you actually need. So what's going to be left? Okay, someone was here. Yes, so we need to use the module sign, right? Everybody agree? And I noticed that when you write the expression, you write everything without any space. And actually, we can use spaces to increase the readability of our expressions, of our code. So for example, the first answer, the first question, the answer to the first question could be written like this. So we add up spaces around plus sign and minus sign, and we can also add up spaces for plus and minus sign. Okay, good. Now let's move on to variables and assignment operators. So this is the example of assignment operators. We have equal sign, plus equal sign, minus equal sign, and we also can use multiplication like asterisk with equal sign, but it's rarely used. So what it means that x is our variable, and we assign 2 to the variable x. Yes, and if we want to increase the same variable by 2, we can write x equal to x plus 2, or the short version will be x plus equal sign 2. Okay, we have more answers here. Okay, Adil. Now, we could use x is if this is the variable that we will readily understand what does it mean, right? But there are some rules. How should we name variables in Python? So the first is we should use only the letters, numbers, and underscores. And you can't have spaces, and you can't start with numbers. In Python, there are reserved words, but as we learn, you will encounter more reserved words, and you will understand what names for variables you cannot use. And sometimes the Python can accept variable name, but it's not a Pythonic way to name the variable in a certain way. So the Pythonic way to name variables is to use lowercase letters and underscores to separate words. There are other ways in other languages how to name variables. For example, you can start each word with a capital letter. It's called the camel way of naming variables. So the example of the correct naming in Python would be first word and then the second word followed by the underscore. You cannot use spaces, and while these names are acceptable, it's not the Pythonic way. So Python will accept these names, but it's not the Pythonic way. Okay. And now let's go to the another example. Here, I want you to understand how the program in Python works. So each line is executed one by one. And you can imagine that our first variable carrots is assigned a number 24. Then we have 8 rabbits. And when we calculate carrots per rabbit, we have, what will be the answer here? We will have how much? How much carrots per rabbit? 3, right? Then if we introduce the new value to rabbits, for example, now we have not 8 rabbits, but we have 12, then what would be the answer here if we print carrots per rabbit? 2. Okay, is there any other answer? Yeah, so Adil, the print is what we want to know, right? We want to know carrots per rabbit, and we already know that this variable is equal to carrots divided by rabbits, right? So what you wrote is you wrote the expression which is equal to the carrots per rabbit, right? But we will use this expression, and this expression means, so we'll look back and see here, we assigned some expression to the variable, which is carrots per rabbits. Now let's calculate it, yeah? Carrots, we have 24. Then rabbits is going to be 12 or 8. What do you think? So it will be 2, yes, somehow, or 3. Okay, 3. No loop. Yeah. So actually, the reason why it is 3 is not because there is a loop or there is no loop. This because the program executes the command and then it saves the answer, right? So imagine we have now the variable carrots, which is 24, the variable rabbits, which is 8, and the variable carrots per rabbit, which is 3, right? Then we introduce 12, yeah, the new value to the rabbits. So now we have, after this line, we have carrots 24, rabbits 8, and rabbits 12, and carrots per rabbit is still 3, right? If we execute this line, if we execute the third line, then the print statement of this variable will be 2, because it will calculate the new value for this variable after we change the value for rabbits. But in this statement, we didn't calculate anything. We just print the value that our program saved in their memory, right? Okay, then let's go to the basic data types. By the way, if you have any question or if something is not clear, please speak up. And I think Aisha is using chat because she can't talk, but if you are comfortable, you can just unmute yourself and answer or ask any question, okay?
So the answer is 3 or 2?
So the answer will be 3.
Can I ask
Oh yeah,
a
Abdullah, yes.
question? How to update the CRS per rep after we input rabbits equal to?
So we need to calculate. So we need to write the this statement again, if I'm not mistaken here. So let me check. Let me check because maybe I have made a mistake.
Yes, it works. Okay. Thank
it works. Okay. Yeah. So what I mean is that carrots, rabbits, and carrots per rabbits are all variables. While the carrots and rabbits have the set value, we calculate the value for carrots per rabbit to obtain this value, right? So we put the expression here and the answer will be 3. So it's same as to write carrots per rabbit equals 3. Yeah. If we want to calculate this line again, we need to run this line again. So it calculates carrots per rabbit given the new value of rabbits. Okay. I think for now it's okay that you might not understand the logic of this code, because we actually didn't set the environment, so you cannot check yourself. You cannot check the code yourself for now. Okay, let's go to the data types. But later today, you will have a chance to check code and do some exercises. So the basic data types are, integers, floats, string, and boolean. And for integers and floats, maybe you know that integers is just the value, which is like the rounded number, right? And float, it does have a decimal point here. Strings is the characters or any words or sentences, usually wrapped by single or double quotes. And booleans are the data type which have the value true or false only. So let's go to the integer and floats first. Integers are used for integer values and floats are used for decimal or floating point values. You can convert, so it means type conversion. You can convert number to integer or float. And you can see example here. If we have the float number here and we use integer function like integer with the brackets, we will have 4. And if it's float, we add up 0 here. Yeah. And if you want to check your the variable type, you need to use the function type. So if we want to know the type of x here, it's going to be integer because we converted the float using the integer function, right? And if we want to know the type of y, we should use type function, and the type will be float because we converted integer 4 into the float, and we have this answer here. Okay. Now let's go to the booleans, comparison and logical operators. So this is the comparison operators. I think you know these signs from math, less than and greater than. Then we have less than or equal to, greater than equal to, and not equal to. And we have the logical operators. And let's go to the practice. You will understand here better. So 5 less than 3. This is the this example of the use of comparison operation. And the value of this comparison operation is the Boolean variable. So is 5 less than 3? No. Then the answer to this expression will be false. The opposite expression, 5 bigger than 3, is true. Yeah, then the Boolean variable is true. If we have less than or equal to, 3 less than equal to, less than equal 3, we have true, right? Because 3 is equal to 3. Then 3 is more or equal 5, which is false, right? Do you see the logic here? And if 3 is not equal to 5, then it's true, right? let's go to the logic operators. Now, if we want to compare several expressions, we will use and, or not. So 5 less than 3 and 5 equal to 5. The first is false. The second is true. False and true is going to be always false. Yes, because it evaluates all provided statements and they all should be true exclusively, right? So we cannot have any false statement here. Then the next one, 5 less than 3 and 5 equal, or 5 equal 5. So the first one is false and the second one is true. This evaluates to true because it means that if at least one is true, then the whole expression is true. Yeah. So when we have and, we should have all the expressions true. If we have or, it means either of expressions should be true, and not 5 less than 3 is the opposite to the expression. So 5 less than 3 is false and not false is true. Yeah, so it's the opposite of the expression, of the result of the expression. Is it clear here?
Yes.
Okay. So the example here would be, we have the variable. So we're gonna use all that we know now. We have variable, we have the assignment operator, and we have the comparison operation here. 42 is more than 43, which is false, right? And this variable is Boolean. Yes. Then we have the age variable, and this is the integer. This is the assignment operator. And this is the new variable. It evaluates two expressions. Age is bigger than 12 and age is less than 12. Because we have AND logical operator, both these expressions must be true. So 14 is more than 12 and is less than 20. Then when we print this variable, the answer will be true. Yes. So we will have the true word in the output. Now let's do this practice. We have the question, when do you say that is10 is Boolean? Okay, it's a good question. Is10 is Boolean because the expression here is evaluates to true or false. It evaluates to true or false because it uses the comparison operators. Age is bigger than 12 and age is less than 12. So comparison operators, the result of comparison operators is the Boolean variable, right? And if here is true or false, then is10 is a Boolean. Okay, if you use comparison operator, it will become Boolean by default. Yeah, it is a Boolean. So sometimes we don't write any comparison operators. We write, for example, the variable correct, the name variable correct. I will write in the chat, and we say that it's false. And we use some conditional statements, for example, and say, if this amount answer correct, then change the value correct to true, yes? So we can either put this reserved expression false and true to the value, or we can use the comparison operators to evaluate the expression, which the result of which will be the reserved words, false or true. Is it clear? So what I wrote is the Boolean, but we already know that the value is false, and we don't need any comparison operators. Or we can evaluate the expression to know the value of a Boolean. Okay, let's do the practice. Maybe you understand more now. So imagine we have a population of San Francisco, and we have the area of the city. And you can pay attention to the style of the assignment. They use comma to list all variables and comma to list all values of these variables. And we have the population and area of Rio. Then we can calculate the population density for each city. And please write your answer in the chat. How can we write the code that prints true if San Francisco is denser than Rio, and false otherwise? How would we evaluate the density of two cities? If you want, we can discuss how we can write this solution. Or you can just directly write your answer in the chat. So in order to get the output true or false, we need to evaluate something, right? Adil suggested the answer. Okay. So I think you have partially correct answer. The first thing that I would say is you don't need to calculate density, right? We already have this variable here. So density, you can just write density shortly. So we have density 1 and density 2. And we don't need to calculate because it's already calculated here. Yes, if we run this code, this will transform into number. Yeah. And another suggestion is when you use variable, you have the assignment number, assignment sign equal, yeah, and then you evaluate something. You just created a variable of certain type. But in order to print something, you need to use a print statement, yes? So this is the comments for Adil's answer. Adil, could you please correct your answer and send again? Somehow, right? Okay, she created the new variable. She evaluated the expression, okay. So she created the Boolean variable, and then she print this Boolean. Okay, that's correct. The only comment I would say is don't use the space between print and the brackets, because functions are written by the name of a function and then brackets followed by without space. Okay, we have Abdullah's answer, print. Okay, that's correct. So what's the difference between Samal and Abdullah's answer is that Samal created the variable and then she printed the variable, right? And Abdullah just prints the answer by evaluating inside the brackets, right? So he did not created any variable for this. So Adil has answer. Okay, that's correct. Okay, that's correct. Dimarao and Aisha, do you have any problems, or if they're okay?
My answer was same as Abdullah's. So
Okay, that's awesome. So this is the answer. And one tricky question maybe, why do you think Python uses 2 equal signs for checking equality rather than 1 equal sign? If something is equal.
Equal sign declare variables.
Could you please repeat again?
If we use equal sign only, it's define variables.
Yeah, that's correct. So when we use just one equal sign, it means that we assign some value to a variable. That's correct. Awesome. Let's go to the last data type, which is strings. And we will cover just some basics and we will not cover any string methods today. So strings is the variable type, which uses the single or double quote, and it can have like a single character, a word, or a whole sentence there. And if you have, for example, some cases like someone's skateboard, you will have to use the single, quote, yeah. And if you don't put any slash back slash, then the computer will think that this is where the string finishes, yeah, stops. And in order to use these statements like someone's skateboard, or for example, you have the sentence, someone said that, and then you have the quote, yeah. You can alternate double and single quote, or you can use the backslash. So I will write in the chat another example. How can you use double and single quotes? For example, you have like statement variable, and this statement says mom told me hurry up, for example. So here we have a sentence, which is our statement variable, yes. And inside this statement, we have someone's quote, yes, mom's quote. She said to hurry up. We alternate double and single quotes, so the computer understands that this is where the whole variable ends, yes, single quotes. And inside single quotes, we have someone's statement, okay? Or we could use the backslash sign. Then we can perform some mathematical operations, for example, summation or multiplication, yeah, the example multiplication. So for example, we have the hello and there, two variables, yes, first word, second word, and if we sum up, we will get new string without any space. And if we want a space here, we should insert the empty single quote, yes, space in the single quotes here. And if we multiply our variable, we will get 5 times the variable. And pay attention to this function, length. It calculates the length of the first word. Yes, so the first word is hello, and we have the number 5. And I think this is not the time for you to learn about indexing, but I want to just mention that we can use indexing to retrieve the character of a string. So the small part of the string. And the Python uses zero indexing, which means we start to count from zero. Yeah. So if we calculate the length of the variable first word here, hello, the answer is 5 because we start from 0. Yeah. H is 0, E is 1, L is 2, L is 3, and O is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Or maybe I have confused with other languages. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, we start with 1 here in Python. Sorry, it's my mistake. And if we calculate the length of one word and the length of the other word, okay, I understand why I said this. So we count the number of letters in the word, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, hello have 5 words. But if we want to retrieve, if we want to index, retrieve one letter, then we start from 0. Yes. So H is 0. Yeah, here. Okay, sorry, that's my mistake. I might confuse you. Do you understand what I mean? So in hello, we have 5 letters total. H, E, L, L, O. And if you want to retrieve the letter from the word, we need to start from 0. Yeah. So H will be 0. Here, the first word 0 is H. The one is E, and so on. Is it clear for you?
Sorry, why do we start from 0?
That's a good question. I have no maybe good answer for this. I forgot the reason. I think it might be associated with the memory allocation, and the string is a collection of, like, you know, the array of something. So it's array of the letters, right? And each letter, suppose you have the array, and each letter has its own like memory box, and we start from 0, maybe because of this, but maybe I need to Google it because I forgot the exact reason why it starts from 0.
I just Google.
Yeah. Do you know the answer?
I don't know the answer. So I think it's because most of the programming language, it's start indexing from 0, and C starts from 0. So I mean,
Yeah.
they follow
So,
C.
Yeah. So it depends on programming language. Some programming languages, maybe like JavaScript, also starts from 0.
I think the one start with 1 is R.
Okay, yeah. So it, like, I don't know the profound reason why it's so, but it's just the way we count it. And yeah. So I think, so C language uses the memory location, as I started to explain in the beginning. Like each value is in the box, and we can retrieve this value by pointing out to the box. So it's like a convention that the first box will have the value 0, right? The, like, how to say, the pointer, which points to the box, memory box, this pointer will be equal to 0. So it is about the memory location. And because, as Abdullah said, the Python is related to C, and the C language has the same property. So both languages start counting from 0. So we will learn about arrays, about lists, and then we will also start counting the elements of array and list from 0. And that's a good question, because I think now you will remember this when we study the arrays and lists. And so after you calculated the length of the string, you can perform some mathematical operations like division and summation. So it's basically like working with integers and floats. And I will mention type conversions because we already covered this in the beginning. So you can know the type of your variable by using type function. For example, integer, float, string, and boolean. And let's do practice. I will have only 10 minutes. So could you please tell me what will be the result of the first expression here? Yeah, 0, 5. The second one is 5, yeah.
5.
The third one, or
0,
the last
5.
one.
No.
So it's not possible to calculate it, yeah? Error, yeah. So because this is a string and this is the integer. But how would you overcome the error? How would you correct if you want to have your answer in string or in integer? So there are 2 ways you can get an answer instead of error. What would you do? So now you cannot sum string and integer, but you can sum integers only or strings only, yeah? So to get rid of the error, what would you do? What? Integer to string? Yes, that's right, Samal. I just mentioned in the previous slide that you can use type conversion, yeah? And in the beginning, we used integer type conversion and float type conversion. Remember, we converted integer to float and float to integer. And the same is for strings. So I will write in the chat, you can use string function to perform the conversion from integer to string, for example, yeah, or float to string, yeah, or boolean to string. Ideal reaction. Yeah, so this is how you would correct your expression to get the result. And we have only 8 minutes. Let's do this practice together, and I will explain what you can do throughout your week. So until the next Monday, to be more close to get the certificate. So let's, could you please tell me what will be the result here? We have variable date, we have variable announcement, and we need to print something. Oops. audio presentation will be on 25. And that's not correct. Yes, there is a space. Yeah, so after on, we have a space. Yeah, this is actually important because if you expect your program to write a space, you actually need to write space by using single double quotes with the space, yeah, or just allocating some space here before finishing the string here, yeah. Right, yes, Abdullah, that's correct answer. And I will explain you what you can do yourself, or we can do this next session. What do you think? So I will explain and then you will decide. So there is a Kaggle. I will send you link. Let me pause sharing. So Kaggle is the platform famous for machine learning competitions and tutorials. We will cover this actually during our learning journey of Python. And if you are interested in machine learning, please join on Friday. We will study the data analysis and machine learning. And let me share with you the website. So you need to create your account there, and it's free. And we just covered some basics of the Python. And the first lesson of this Python course covers the same information. You can just refresh everything that we learned today. It has some more info, but I think you will be able to understand this because it has extensive explanation. And then after you do this, you can practice the exercise. I will show you the exercise, how it looks like. So I will share my screen and I want to show you what's going on in here. So here you can see so this is the course. It consists of 7 steps. And the first one is the Hello Python. So we already covered, so here is the good chance for you to try and run code yourself without any environment set up. For example, you will see that if you run this statement, you will get the answer, please. We already covered variables. It includes some conditional statements, but I think it's not important for you to understand it completely for now. There is numbers and arithmetic in Python, some expressions here, print statements, built-in functions like minimum, maximum, absolute value, which is what we didn't cover today, but you can study here. And then after you finish this, you can run your first program in the exercises. And this is actually the environment where you can write your code. It should, okay. Load now, okay. For example, if I click to this code here, there is a button play. And we now executed these lines, yeah? It takes some time because I have a poor internet connection maybe. Okay. Well, maybe that's not a good idea to run code right now. Session started. Okay, so here, this is the output. Yeah, we printed this statement. You are successfully run some Python code, and congratulations here. Yeah. Actually, I think you can write here anything you want. Maybe you can write even like this. 3 less than 5. Yeah, false. Here you see, the output is false. Okay. So what do you think? Do you want to do it yourself, or we can try to do it together next time? Next Monday. Guys, what do you think? Do you want to do it yourself?
Maybe we can, yeah, maybe for now practice by ourselves, and if have some questions, ask you.
Yeah, sure. So if you want, you can do other tutorials, but if you have no time, I think just joining us on Monday, we can finish this course and we can get the certificate. So don't stress out that you need to do something on your free time. So maybe next time, just be ready that we will cover it next Monday. Yeah. If you have time, because this will help me to plan next session. Do I need to explain like new topics, or should we do these exercises together? Like just studying together. What do you think? Adil, you showed me thumbs up, but it doesn't answer my question. Like it's evaluation of the expression this or this. So the answer is true or false.
Maybe new topic next week.
Do you agree, Samal? Abdullah?
The
Yeah,
topic.
I think so.
New topic.
Yeah,
Okay.
if we have some question, we can ask on Monday. But in our case, let's learn some new topics.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Then you can do these exercises, and we will start new topic, and then you will do exercises again. Maybe if we don't have time. And I think after maybe 5 or 6 lessons, you can finish the course on Kaggle. Okay. Thank you very much for joining today, and I hope to see you next week. And if you have any suggestions, how should I do better, please don't hesitate to share with me. I'm very welcoming any feedback. Okay, see you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Aya,
Yeah,
can I get the presentation file?
yes, sure. I will share with your Gmail, yeah? I have the Gmail.
Yeah.
Maybe I do not see it actually, because maybe for privacy issues, when you registered, I only see part of your Gmail. Maybe you can
I can
write.
type down my Gmail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Bye-bye. Thank you for
Bye.
joining.
Yeah, it was interesting. I like it.